Hello everybody and welcome to Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV. I still remain your favorite podcaster, Olanrewaju Abodun. It's been a while on this podcast and then we've been trying to come back for the past 2 weeks, but a lot of things going on background, but it's good to be back again, doing what we love to do best. I have Wale here and I also have someone making his debut on this podcast. He goes by BJ. BJ is an Arsenal fan, so for the viewers and the listeners, you gotta take it easy on him in the comment section. Again, BJ is an Arsenal fan, and also good to have you, BJ. How you doing, BJ?
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah,
good to be here, and it's always fun talking football.
Fun talking football. Wale is one of the most happiest person. In the world of football. Ask me why? Because Liverpool, the almighty Liverpool, is the champions of England. And that's where we'll be starting from. Wale, how do you feel Liverpool starting? Winning the EPL. We talk about this last season coming into the when the season wanted to start. We talk about how is Liverpool going to cope, with Jurgen Klopp leaving Anfield and the coming in of the new coach, which is Arne Slot.
Right.
We talk about how Arne Slot, how is he going to survive? Is he going to start up from where Jurgen Klopp left? But again, Arne Slot, Liverpool fans can smile at the end of the day.
Thank you for having me. So good to be back again. It's good to be back as a champion, and nobody gave us the chance to, win the EPL. Everybody said, different things.
Right.
Klopp has gone. Now it's time for you guys to start losing and lose relevance. But I think the first podcast of the year that we did, I specifically stated that Liverpool was going to win the league.
And that was right. I remember you were one of many Liverpool fans that was very optimistic going into the season that Arne Slot is going to do something.
Yes, because I felt we had the team,
right.
The Liverpool 2.0.
You said that?
Yeah, I said that. And I felt all the manager needed to do is just to, show us workings and the team.
Not by church.
No, it's not that. We are not Arsenal. We are not Arteta.
Okay,
he talks a lot.
It's too early for that, anyways. BJ, there's been a lot of talks about this Liverpool winning the league. They said the league is not that competitive enough because Liverpool won the league like 4 matches to go with. So there's been some divided opinion that is it that the EPL is not being competitive enough. What do you think about? What do you make of that? Not giving this credit to Liverpool for winning this.
Yeah, right. Liverpool, congratulations. So one of the things they did very well, it's if it's not broken, don't fix it. So Slots met a very good team, and what he needed to do is just like add his own little stuff.
Right.
So and that really worked. So talking about competition, it's EPL. It's always going to be competitive.
Yeah, because many people want it to go down the wire. You know how it has been like, let's say,
final
day of the season. So that's why,
Yes.
when I read a lot of comments, there's been that divided opinion that,
That is down to Arsenal, right? That is down to Arsenal. Arsenal were
That's not
supposed to be
Liverpool's
the one to chase Liverpool down the line, but unfortunately, we lost gas along the line, and that has always been the story of Arsenal, unfortunately. So we're kind of used to it. But the competition is there. What has changed in the EPL is the competition. So there are no smaller clubs. You can go to Southampton, right? Look at what happened to City at Southampton.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, right. So it is very, very competitive. So don't say it's EPL. No, it's not EPL. That is down to Arsenal not chasing it down with Liverpool, but it's what it is. Congratulations, Liverpool.
Well, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I still want to stick with Liverpool before we start talking about Arsenal. We'll be going that again. When the season was about to start, we were talking about who's going to win the league, like I said. But we said this season, we know City might take a step off the gas because they're just coming back from winning the treble.
Right.
That's they've won 4 league back to back. So we, based on our own submission, I remember while we talk about that they might as well step off the gas. And shout out to Mazi. He also said something that we shouldn't expect. We remember
Mazi said that. Yeah, he said
when
that.
we were in Ohio, the game we watched when Chelsea and Manchester City played at the stadium there. When we talked to Mazi, he said we shouldn't expect nothing much from City because they might step off the gas and then and unfortunately City it's official they'll be going trophyless. So Wale, we thought Arsenal was going to step up. They always come in second, against City, and this is a very good opportunity going into the season for Arsenal to just step up and that did not happen. They couldn't put it. What would you make it of, Liverpool getting a new manager and winning the league? In the expense of Arteta, who's been there for a couple of, years, not winning the league. What's your take?
Well, I feel when we talk about it, when we look at it that way, we also have to acknowledge that Arsenal had a lot of injury woes. One thing is we have to be, stop being sentimental.
But Wale don't play politics for me.
No, I'm not playing politics.
Okay, I hear
so
you.
I'm actually being honest with my own opinion. Right. So I felt if they had the Sakas, Saka
was out for like 3-4 months. Right?
He was out for 4 months.
Yeah, so Odegaard was out at the point.
Odegaard, yes.
So if you
season,
you're
couple
right.
of guys like that, chop and change.
You understand? So if you look at it, 2 seasons ago, Liverpool could have won that league. 2 seasons ago, when Jurgen Klopp was there, we ended up coming up third.
Right.
But people will forget that at some point Liverpool had like 7 points gap. But when those injuries to key players start setting in, that is when you know the strength or the depth of a team. So I don't think Arsenal has enough depth. That injury actually cost them a lot, because Liverpool will still have won, because I believe that Liverpool team is stronger, more experienced. Forget the fact that Arsenal was there 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they came runners up. No. If you look at in the last 6 seasons, Liverpool has hit 97, 93, 92 points. And we only won the title once.
Right.
Isn't it? So Liverpool had more experience. I keep telling people, Arsenal, yes, they did it back to back, runners up, but Liverpool had that experience. But let's not forget the fact that Arsenal had their injuries. But Arteta could have used the January transfer window to correct certain things. You understand? Maybe getting a striker. Arsenal only a striker. From what I see, they were only a striker away from winning the league. But now they will need more than a striker, because everybody is reinforcing. Every team is buying players.
Talking about reinforcement, BG, going into the season, we saw Mikel Arteta, Edu, they got some signings, and likes of Calafiori came in. Timber was out for a year. He came back. It's like a plus for you guys. And then also 2 years ago, you got Kai Havertz, right?
We had Mikel Merino.
Merino, coming back from Euros,
Yes.
But again, bringing Mikel Merino in to a position which, using Mikel Merino at the end of the season in a different position which he was being bought to do the assignment.
Yeah, right.
What would you make of Arteta's recruitment and, all these? Because going to the end of the season, it was Mikel Merino as a striker, and that's a lot of eyebrows against. Arsenal fans are not that happy for that. What would you make of the recruitment and the whole of it?
You're right. Recruitment, I would say I have my sentiments, right, and alluding to what Wadi said,
Right.
So in fairness to Mikel, he had a lot of injuries, But again, we had January. And we should have reinforced, but that did not happen. Arsenal do not like to do a lot of business in January. Right? Arsenal, if you know Arsenal, if you have been following Arsenal for a while, you know that we don't like to do a lot of business in January. True. But again, that is on seriousness. If I want to look at it, if you are chasing something, and if you are just like a player or a signing or two away from
achieving
what's in the line.
Yeah, just go ahead and do it, right? But talking about recruitment, we've got quite a number of things wrong, Kai, great guy, Kai Havertz, right? Great guy, he's done quite well, but again, I do not think it was the right person, to replace at the time to replace Granit Xhaka,
right.
One, or to act as the number 9 that everyone was talking about. Remember 2 seasons ago when we were in this competition with City, everybody said, "Oh, if Arsenal had a number 9,
right?
Yes." That season went, we did not sign a number 9. We signed Kai. This season, we did not sign a number 9. We relied on Kai, right? So that is recruitment. I would say we've not done a very great job. So let's see. We have been linked to a number of players, but Arsenal, the way we do our business, linked to a lot of players,
eventually not buying them.
Eventually not buying them.
Fair enough, in January, Arsenal made a last-minute bid for Oli Watkins.
Yes, the 29-year-old Aston Villa striker.
Yeah, but it couldn't happen. That deal.
I'm not sure Aston Villa are going to sell Watkins at
no, they wanted to
because
60 million.
The other guy was going to Saudi.
Oh yeah,
what was his
John
name?
Duran
was going to Saudi, so they'll be left with
just
with
Rogers.
Not even Rogers. With Oli Watkins.
Right.
So that is they were not going to sell. So I was expecting maybe would have gone for a Marcus Rashford. You know, I felt he would have done.
As a matter of fact, you're the second person that really wants Marcus Rashford as an Arsenal fan I've talked to. You know, I think I thought a big Demi is always he was talking about Demi. Rashford.
Rashford could have done the job.
He's an established
he could have done the job. For Arsenal, he will score goals.
He's experienced and he could hold. He has the space. He's good in the air. So I would have expected, you know, Mikel to go for. But again, we all know Mikel Arteta. He has a kind of player he likes, and he's
a player like Sterling, right?
Right. You know, if you talk about Raheem was a bad guy. You know,
that's when the rumor came out, you know, in January, like, oh, Arsenal in for Raheem Sterling. I'm like,
I was
never.
like, no.
I said never. It's not gonna happen. Nah, it's just, you know, this rumor that was flying, and officially.
Then people talked about, hey, it's just like getting him for free because, you know, Chelsea were going to be paying
the
150 and we are paying 100. So like that is a bad business,
right?
You know, because Raheem has never been in form at Chelsea, right? For imagine, right, a new manager in Maresca coming in and saying, hey, this is not going to be part of my plan,
right?
You know, and Chelsea at that point in time, they were not rooting, or they were not going to win the league.
Right.
They knew they were not going to win the league. They were shooting for a top 4, and a Chelsea reject and Arsenal that are going, that are shooting to win the league, went for him. It's, you know, that tells you what Mikel is doing.
So can we say that Arteta has been buying players, but he has been buying the wrong players, or buying not actually fixing
that's players profiling, you know.
You need a striker, you are buying a defender.
You know, Mikel is just like, you know, I don't know the type of football he wants to play. I understand, but again, everyone has said, all the pundits, everyone,
even my grandma knew.
Everyone, but only the board, Mikel and Edu at the time,
right,
thought otherwise. So now look at where we are.
Well, if you're watching this is Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV, and I have BJ here. He's making his debut on this podcast, and as you can see, we'll be having more of BJ as an Arsenal fan here. Take it easy on him in the comment section. Just say hello to him, you know. Wale, I still want to stick with Arne Slot. Coming from Holland, you know, they talked about it might likely be Erik ten Hag 2.0, you know, bringing another coach from Holland. So how it didn't go well for Erik ten Hag in England, and then of course Arne Slot, he did exceptional well. I mean, he's won the league. Like BJ said, if it's not broken, don't
fix it. Yes.
And at the point when we watch Liverpool play at the beginning of the season, even you, Wale, you were like, this team it's not this way. And a couple of Liverpool guys, you know, when Liverpool played, they said, no, it's not this jogging club. As in, Arne Slot's pattern is not just attack, like the way jogging.
There's a tweak to it.
So it's at a point, Liverpool fans were
worried.
We're worried that what's going to happen. Like, you wanted this. You guys are used to this. You know, bass balls, games,
heavy metal,
you know. But this man just won you the league. Wale, what more can we say?
So thank you. Marco van Basten, one of the greatest players to ever play this game, who happened to be the FIFA technical director. That's like the highest rank, you know, for a footballer. He said when he listened to Arne Slot analyze games, he was wowed at how, you know, knowledgeable this guy is when it comes to football. So sometimes, as he said, BJ said, if something is not broken, don't fix it. You can tweak it. So we were used to heavy metal, collect the ball from the opponent, press them, get the ball, and then go to their box. But now, press them, get the ball,
Keep the ball.
control. Do you get? So the players even love it. They enjoy it more than
Because they run less.
they run less. That's why
And
you
it's
see,
sustainable.
you see Jurgen Klopp's team, like towards the end of the season, they tend to wear out because they've lost all their legs. Do you understand? So this guy is a tactical genius. Go and watch Feyenoord play. You will still see his pattern.
I talk
in
about
Feyenoord.
this. I talk about this when he came in. If you remember, in one of our when that we still in our former studio.
Yeah.
I said, this guy, he does a lot of substitution, and that's the same thing he did with Liverpool. He works with the wing backs. You see, many a time the wing backs are always the one controlling the games, and he does substitution. Most of his wing backs don't play 90 minutes. Is it that they play 65?
65, right?
So the wing backs are the one, getting his and that's going to lead me to the next question. Wale, Trent Alexander-Arnold off to Real Madrid. How do you feel about that?
Bye-bye.
Whoa!
Bye-bye. No, seriously. So that's all I can say. He has been a good servant, a diligent servant. But I just feel like a section of
Low
Liverpool.
key, you are pained though.
I'm not pained, sincerely.
Tell the audience.
You know why I'm not pained?
Right.
Arnold is a defensive liability. Everybody knows that.
But going forward, we are going to miss him.
So the thing is,
You are going.
Can you get a-
answer me the question? Wale, going forward.
going forward, we are going to miss his creativity.
and talking
Right?
into the midfield as well. Sometimes this guy is one of the best passers in England.
We are not disputing that.
Right.
But can you get the creativity somewhere else? Yes.
Let's wait and see.
What role? So Frimpong just signed. They just Fabrizio just announced
Right.
before we came into the studio. He's like the same type of player, the same creativity, but a little bit better defensively.
Shout out to Moses. Moses is one crazy guy like that. He said
EJ, right?
EJ. He said Alexander Arnold that Doku dribbled almost 500
I
times.
tell you,
500 times against City.
we did the analysis. I checked YouTube. I literally counted the number of times this guy got dribbled. So it got to a point I started looking at it like he's not even interested in defending. Go and look at some of the goals we conceded. Arnold will just stand there like sincerely. So it's going to be a loss, yes, but it's not going to be a big loss. We said that out of the three, we were already speculating that one of them was going to
go.
So Arnold is not a problem to Liverpool. He has been replaced even before he left. Bradley, he has been replaced.
And he's been doing very well.
He's been doing very well.
Right.
So all we just need is the creativity of Arnold. We need to get it in a midfielder. Maybe if we are lucky to get Florian Wirtz, fine. If we are not, we still have McAllister. So, but the way he went about it is what is painful.
How? What do you mean?
You can't be a Liverpool fan and be signing a Madrid shirt. Arnold started learning Spanish 18 months ago?
Because this deal didn't start today. Real Madrid have made a contact with Arnold.
So was it that Liverpool did not give him a contract? We gave him a contract. He just refused to sign.
Yeah, he has a choice, right? So you cannot force anything down the throat of any player, right?
Right.
So, and if a player decides to go, good luck.
We are happy. We wish him all the best.
But the thing that was mad at was when he came to the stadium, the pitch, and the fans were just
going on.
You can't blame people for how they feel. Or how they
man served, like you said, from what you said, but when we want to start,
I would not blame him regardless,
right?
But you can't. 60,000 people cannot all behave the same. So it's just a section of the fans that booed him, not all the fans. Some of them even clapped for him, right? So you can't blame them. But I think if he gets a bit of stick, he deserves it too. Because the reason why I said that, let me analyze it. We are going to spend money on a player now, but we are not getting any revenue. What does that speak for? What is this rule? FFP rule. That's a damage to the club. We are spending money. We are not getting money back. So we have to sell someone else.
So it's not the first doing that, right? So you have players doing it. So I don't think it's fair to just say, hey, no, just smash and bash him because of that. So and that is what I think you are doing. Players are going to do whatever. So if you needed to get something off him, you should have sold him last season.
Right.
we should have sold him. But
Yes,
Madrid did not want to buy him.
That is Madrid.
He also refused to renew.
That is
Because
Madrid.
Madrid
That is Madrid.
They already told him that don't worry,
just run out.
Just
of
run
his
out.
contract.
Do you know how Madrid and Barca are doing their business now? They go to the market and get players on free transfer.
Good players, right?
Yeah, good
Do
players.
you know
So, yes,
Konya that plays for Wolves?
Right?
He told Wolves he was leaving, right? But he extended because he didn't want to leave on a free.
Individual differences.
So that's what I'm saying.
We
If
have-
you truly love your club,
we have
you can go anywhere.
analysis
Play at the
like,
highest level.
But
Get
at
us
the end of
something.
the day, at the end of the day, you are going to choose yourself above every other
Exactly.
thing. Even above your club, right? So
When you are a local lad, it's different. When you are a Gerrard-like player,
you are going to choose yourself.
Anyway, this is Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV. As you can see, I think Wale's been paying about Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving Liverpool.
I can tell.
Just drop your comment and let's see how you feel with this, because he's telling us right here that he's not paying, but
I'm not.
I can see him being paying Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the champion of Spain. At the beginning of the season, we thought Real Madrid was going to sweep the domestic league in Spain. Talking about La Liga, the Copa del Rey, Spanish.
They were going to win all the
They were going
trophies.
to win everything. Why? Because they signed arguably the best player on heads right now, which is Kylian Mbappe. Coming from winning the Champions League, winning the league, Real Madrid, and then added Kylian Mbappe to the squad. We thought they're going to do it, but of course, no, they can do that. The champion of Spain. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're watching this is Gold Rush Football Podcast, and I have my rights
Larry's team, right?
Larry's FC Barcelona.
the champion of Spain, ladies and gentlemen, is FC Barcelona. Listen, guys.
Right.
How do you feel about that? Yeah, I deserve that. Because I've suffered a lot on this podcast and also outside this podcast. The jibes, the lashes,
The banter.
the banters, I've been absorbing that for years, But again, this man brought joy to us. Hansi Flick has changed our life. He has changed my life watching the game. BJ, how do you feel going into the season now Barcelona is champion?
Flick, obviously, he was going to do it. And if you look at Barca's tradition, they love it keeping it young. From players transitioning to the first team, and you see what Pedri is doing. You see Yamel, right? So great. It's just like you may say one of the best players in the world at the moment. So I expected that, and they have a very good coach, and that tells you, what Real Madrid suffered. That tells you that players don't win trophies. It is
names.
It's not just
names.
Not just individual players. It takes a team to win. And I look at what PSG are doing at the moment. When they had the likes of Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, they could not do it. Now you see the way they are playing now. So the same thing with Real Madrid. So I felt like adding Kylian into the mix was a wrong move.
Because of that position, Wale, you talk about Kylian Mbappe before. Like, we've been talking about him since the beginning of this podcast when we started like 3-4 years ago that he was going to come to Real Madrid. He wasn't going to come to Real Madrid, hanging around Real Madrid, rejecting Real Madrid a couple of times, and finally they got their man. And then the season, no, we're not going to take anything away from Kylian Mbappe. He got 40 plus goals.
Right?
Absolutely did his job. But at the start, it wasn't that easy. I think that was what, pegged back the Real Madrid. But again, I'm not going into Real Madrid because somebody cannot take my shine. We're talking about Barcelona right here. Wale, how do you feel? Barcelona winning the
I'm
league.
happy for you guys because some of the players that Hansi Flick won the league with, they would not even... They are not names that are known.
Kubasi.
I don't
put respect.
I don't even know.
Pau Kubasi.
These are good players. No
Right.
disrespect to them, but there's this guy that plays the defensive midfield role. I think Cordado or something like that. Casado.
He got injured last year for he's been out injured.
Pedri. Where are these guys from? This is strange. I think a story has to be written about Barcelona winning the league this year
season,
because nobody. We didn't give it to them at the beginning of the season.
Right.
But it's shocking that they played the type of football they played. So it's like two men actually carried the team. Like Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. If they need a goal, somebody would just show up. I mean, Hansi Flick did a good job, and congratulations again to Barcelona. Trust me, they have told us now that money cannot buy class.
Right.
You know, class is just permanent.
Well, I'm still going to stay with Hansi Flick before talking about some of the players which you've mentioned. You know, this man came to Barcelona at the expense of he doesn't understand the language. He's not a Catalan.
He's German. Yeah.
The culture is different in Barcelona.
True.
And then the DNA of Barcelona is different from German.
In German, right?
The German tacticians, you know. So there's been this eyebrows when it was coming that, hey, hope Barcelona is not going to suffer. And this is what Xavi, respect, I mean, a shout out to Xavi as well. I mean, respect, we're not going to take anything away from Xavi because he built this foundation, given the likes of Yamal, Pau Kubasi, and these guys, he gave them this,
Pedri,
you know, he put them into the shoes and, you know, Hansi Flick picked from there. But again, if you are not a good manager, if you are not that sound, if you don't have this tactical, this thing, you won't be able to survive the way Hansi Flick survived this Barcelona. I think the communion, even, I'm saying this as a Barcelona fan, like, other rival fans or other fans aside from Barcelona don't really understand this bond which Hansi Flick has created within the fans, himself, and the players. At the point, he even said, when he got into the dressing room, it's like a family because everyone is watching for each other. So, he takes these guys like he's a father.
Brothers,
he's the father to this thing. And also, he transcends down to the fans. So, this communion, do you think it's still going to last? Is Barcelona still going to take this in a very long rope? Because
trust me, right?
There's been celebration in Spain. The parade has been going on since yesterday. 80,000 fans outside. They were outside yesterday. You know, during the parade. You know, everyone is happy. The vibe is there. This happiness. I mean, this league feels different. Of course, Barcelona won the league 2 years ago under Xavi. But if you ask Barcelona fans and you ask some guys,
now,
how are you feeling now? I mean, how Barcelona fans are feeling now?
There's
a lot of possibility. There's a lot of something. The new era, something is about to start. You know.
So Larry, right? You said it right. So just like expectation, right? The expectation wasn't that high for Flick when it came in, and when you see your team performing, you're just like you are starting to believe. You know, the same thing with Arteta. You know, at the time when he came in, we were kind of in shambles, and in fairness to him, he said, okay, right, he had to build
his own team,
and
take off some guys off,
make sure that your dressing room is intact. So that is one of the things that Flick, I think, he has done very well with this Barcelona team. And again, first, the job of a manager is to be a leader,
right,
and to lead by example. I think he has done that very well, and he has the dressing room intact, and of course, if you have your dressing room intact, you have players who believe in your cause, and you have been managing them. They are saying that, okay, this is the man. We are ready to play for him. We are ready to die for him. We are ready to do whatever it takes for this guy
to be successful.
To be successful at this club. They'll go ahead and do it, and I think that is what Barca are enjoying at the moment.
Xavi said, you know, there's been a lot of talks, you know, the way Xavi was being kicked out of the club, you know, the respect, you know, they disrespected him of, you know, just because at the point he said he was leaving. Barcelona talked to him and then
he stayed.
Then again, there was some imbalance in the squad. Why? Because of the press conference. Xavi is a Catalan. He breathes Barcelona. He lives Barcelona. His whole life.
He's a legend of the club.
He's a legend of the club. Arguably one of the best players Barcelona have produced, you know, in the world. So coming into that dressing room, the press got into him, and his emotions, his feelings towards the way which he loves the club. He expected the press and the fans to when he's having a rough ride, he was expecting them to understand, you know, the situation. And Xavi came out, you understand? And Xavi came out, you know, in every press conference. Xavi has always been honest with the situation of things. Hey, Barcelona cannot cope. They're dealing with a lot of financial issues. Do you think, I mean, things cannot work with this kind of players? We can't sign these players. Like, he's doing his best. But again, Laporta and Deco got Hansi Flick. And he said, and I'm going to start from someone, Lewandowski. Xavi made us believe Lewandowski is out. Like, he's part of. If Xavi would be he will be the coach of Barcelona going into this season, Lewandowski will be gone.
Yeah, right.
Because he was part of guys that Barcelona wanted to send out if Xavi was staying. And as Flick came, he said, okay, you know what? This guy, I know what to do. He doesn't need to do this running. He doesn't need to do. And the best coach that brought the best out of Lewandowski is Hansi Flick when he was at Bayern.
Bayern, right, yeah.
So he knew how to manage him, and look at Lewandowski now. I mean, I'm still worried about going into next season having a 37-year-old as a striker. Maybe in a day everything could bust. But again, he delivered. And
for this season.
This season,
right?
Absolutely perfect. He just need these guys to run for him and do the ball, and that's going to make me talk about a player in Yamal. But again, Xavi could not do it. This thing gets into him. He felt that pressure. So one thing I think is going for Hansi Flick is that he doesn't care about the press. He doesn't care about the journalists, like what they say about him. I'll give you an example from what I heard. There was a point last season when Barcelona won the Champions League against a team and they were not doing good. Xavi came into the press conference and said, now you can see that baboon. I mean, who is that? He used that statement because there was a particular journalist that talked about Xavi, his performance, and this journalist wasn't exactly. This journalist wasn't. He didn't mean what he said. They are professionals.
Right.
They never meant to get into Xavi like that. But Xavi reacted. He reacted in press conference. He reacted with the ways the fans turned their back against him. So it got into him. And also, if you are having that, bringing into the dressing room, there's going to be imbalance. Things are going to be cross. I mean, respect to Xavi, the best the club has ever produced. Talking about even in the world. Right. But again, I think Hansi Flick has done a very good job. Wale.
Yeah, maybe sometimes it's good to be an outsider.
I agree with you because maybe that is what is still working for Hansi Flick. Maybe by next season, when he's now getting into the culture, things can start getting into. But this guy comes to the press conference and so come on.
You are coming in as an outsider,
right?
You are coming.
He doesn't know the culture. He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't speak Catalan.
You are going to be objective.
He doesn't know what they say.
Everyone
how you feel is
what they bring, so that's it. So then you have your own. You are going to build your own culture, right? You are going to build your own culture. If you have a very great board, so that would work for you.
Right.
Then it's now left to you how you manage it. So and I think Flick has really managed that thing very well.
Very well.
Wow.
Very, very well.
Guys, let's talk about Yamal. 17-year-old is going to be 18 in July. He started all this run started last season, on the Xavi, he came as a very young guy at 15 plus years, going to 16 at the back of a very successful Euros. He won the Euros.
Euro, right.
Came back and he's been. Are you guys? Wale, what were you doing at 17 years old? Let me ask you.
17.
What were you doing at 17 years old?
Oh my God, Larry, let's not go there. That boy is just too much. The type of football he plays is just too big for his age. Trust me. I was watching his video yesterday. When he started his YouTube channel,
right,
and he was showing an Arsenal jersey to his friend. He has a replica. He has a Barcelona jersey. I'm just like, is this not the same guy? Trust me, in the next 2 years, I don't care how many goals any striker scores. If he continues playing the way he's playing, he has 2 Ballon d'Ors that he's going to win. I don't care if he scores 60 goals, and that guy keeps playing
the flair, right?
The flair, the assists.
He just plays like
this guy wins big games.
He's just so comfortable with the ball.
18 or 19-year-old.
Right.
Okay, he's not even 18.
He's not 18 yet.
It's
going to be 18 in July,
right?
The world is not ready for that guy.
And he's done 100 matches, over 100 matches.
Over 100 matches.
100
for Barcelona.
That guy is a legend in the making. Trust me. He's a legend in the making. I hope and pray that injury does not, stop him.
Let me tell my own story here. Okay, so when Yamal came in, when Xavi brought in, if you remember in the group where I put Lamine Yamal principal.
Yeah.
Because I see something like I hear people talk about, oh yeah, this is how you guys hype Ansu Fati at the end of the day. Come on, Ansu Fati has not done. He never did 50% of what this guy is doing. No. Yeah, Ansu Fati was good at his own time, scoring goals. He played with Messi, he played with Griezmann, he played with all these guys.
Yeah.
But this guy is just, it's different when you watch Barcelona play. Because I hear people saying, man, you guys should just relax. Don't overhype Yamal.
Right.
Now, so on I do with Fati. Fati was supposed to be the this and that.
The next big thing,
right?
right?
The next big thing. But again, Yamal is just different. Like I asked Wale, what were you doing at 17? Maybe BJ will give us the answer. What were you doing at 17? Because this guy, Yamal at 17 in front of 60,000 crowds, in front of all the whole world is watching him, and he's not even letting that get into him. He just goes there and enjoy himself.
I think the only player that did exact thing at that same age,
right,
would say is Kylian Mbappe.
Right,
scoring
right.
that goal,
Kylian,
busting, into the scene, onto the scene with pace, dribbling skills. But Yamal has added pace to dribble. He has,
and he takes the decision. He takes the right decision and the right
touches. I don't think he has ever, taken a wrong foot in a game, like made any mistake. For me, maybe the way I see it, sometimes his touches alone, just his control, the defenders are dead. Like he leaves them for dead. Like
what the best coaches, when you are learning basics, they say you're as good as your first touch. Your first touch, right? And that is one of the things that was working for Bukayo Saka at the time. Bukayo is not the kind of player that dribbles, but making decisions, right? So making correct decisions. And this guy, Yamal, is just like he combines like everything. If you are facing him, wow.
We saw what happened at the Euros. We saw what happened in these big games, the UCL.
In the big games,
he's always there.
He's never found one thing. He's never found
the
one
goal
thing.
against Espanyol
is
it's just like an how-to. It's like you're playing
like a cheat, right?
That's a cheat code. That ball had no business going in, but what?
At 17, man, the world is not ready for him.
The world is not ready.
It's still evolving. It's still evolving. So he's going to be a great player.
As an outsider,
I pray Barcelona.
Gentlemen, as an outsider, we talk about Yamal. Which other players, from Barcelona do you think is also, that we need to give the flowers, from, in Barcelona?
Pedri.
Obviously.
Pedri.
Tell me something about Pedri.
Pedri is like, I don't know. I don't know if I should call him the Iniesta. Because those guys, how old are they? I'm sorry for asking. The reason why I'm asking is, they just started playing football about 2-3 years ago, right?
And it started as a teen as well.
They're already playing like Xavi. Like the prime Xavi, because there was a time I knew Xavi. Xavi was not the Xavi, until maybe 2005, 6, But this guy is just too. Barcelona is lucky to have the La Masia.
Right? The academy.
Tell me something about Pedri.
Yeah, Pedri has the movement of Xavi. And the flair of Iniesta. It's just like this a guy.
My head go blow for this podcast. It's the truth. If you're watching this is Don't Rush Football Podcast, and this is not Baka TV, but again, this is Barcelona winning the league. So if you are watching this, please don't just drop your comments and just drop your congratulatory message. Telling Barcelona, because I have suffered a lot. My enemies, rival fans, Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans. Oh my God! But again, it's good to be here. Let's give
and we also have to give it to Yamal for showing the world one of our talents in skills. If you are watching this, we are happy skills, for you. Shout out to Skills.
Yeah.
His music got a lot of views.
It got a lot of views. Yeah. So we talk about the players, and then because without the players doing their job, we're not going to say Hansi Flick perform. But again, the last flower goes to, I want to give this flowers to Hansi Flick to hand up all this, Barcelona.
Right.
Let's go away from Barcelona TV segments, because that's what we've been doing for the past 10 minutes now. Again, this guy came into the Barcelona side with a lot of internal issues,
financial crisis,
the board, no money, and it did what the legend of the club could not do. You know what I'm talking about. And at the point in December, Barcelona was in this deep form. 3 losses back to back against Las Palmas. The whole world thought, oh man, this high line, they cry all over the world. It's Barcelona and high line at 5 and 6. It's not sustainable. They can't cross the line. It happened. We can talk about that in the UCL, because they couldn't do it, because that high line came up and they couldn't do it. And based on his experience, the high line the Yoruba say Ashiri Pada too. You know, everything everything finally cast. But again, this man stuck to his own ways of the way he played. He didn't listen to. He didn't let the financial thing get into him. Because in December, when the Barcelona was about to go to play the Super Cup in Dubai or in Saudi Arabia, Barcelona could not sign Dani Olmo. They had to let Christensen's injury just to replace
to justify
to sign. I mean, at the beginning of the season, no, not even Jan. At the beginning of the season, maybe the second, third matches, Christensen was injured. That was why Dani Olmo was registered. Then again in December, January, the thing came up again that Olmo could not be registered. This, together with Paul Victor, but this man did not even let that get into him. And this is the only guy, as a coach, the only guy which you told the ball to sign in Dani Olmo could not play for you at the very important crucial game.
Yeah.
And he went ahead and man, I don't care about what people say, man. Hansi Flick, you have changed my life. Kudos to you. I mean, respect to Xavi. Anyways,
Good job.
this is Gold Rush Football Podcast. Wale, let's talk about a little bit about the Bundesliga. Let's just wrap up this segment with the Bundesliga. We have
The curse has been broken, right?
the course has
Finally.
Harry Kane
Harry now has a trophy.
has a trophy. I want to hear you guys 2 cents.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, Harry, congratulations. I'm happy you didn't do it with Spurs.
But VJ, Spurs are in the finals anyway, so I hope Arsenal
Right. I'm not.
They are playing.
Yeah, I'm not a United fan,
Right.
but I'm gonna be a Spurs fan on that. I mean, I'm gonna be a United fan on that day.
Okay.
Anyone else but Spurs,
Really?
You cannot have Spurs win.
An European trophy. You never win that. Champions of Europe. You never see
No, that is not happening. That is not happening. Yeah, Harry, congratulations. Very deserved. He went there last season. We said, hey, the course followed him to Germany. Yeah, because it was Leverkusen's year.
Right.
But this year, yes. He did well. Last season, even the first season, he got the goals.
He got the goals, yeah.
All the things
broke on the record.
it was just demand for Bayern.
Right.
But that did not just happen. But this year, I'm so happy for Harry. I'm happy for Bayern. So most people would have expected them to win anyways. It's just the year that Bayern does not win. That is just like, hey, that's unusual. So it's just like they can be champions there. Harry can be champions there.
But Spurs cannot win.
Nah, just
don't forget this is the year. This is the year of the underdog.
Before we talk about the biggest club competition in the world, that's the UCL Final. You've been listening to Wale and BJ. BJ is making his debut on his podcast, and he's also a realtor right here in Indianapolis. You can follow BJ on Instagram at BJ the Catalyst on Instagram. I'll be dropping his handle on the podcast description. Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan, like you all know. He's I think maybe he's one of the unbiased Arsenal fan I've met. Maybe it's just because he's making his debut on this podcast. Maybe as time goes on, we're going to see the true Arsenal in him. But
like if this is going to be your friends,
well, this is BJ once again. BJ, thank you so much for coming. And before we finish, before we end up this episode, before we end up this episode, I just want BJ's 2 cents on the UCL. We have the final, PSG against Inter Milan. This is PSG's second final in their history. They've not played in the final for like 3 goals. The first time was against Bayern. They lost.
And they lost, right?
And the second time now, they'll be playing Inter Milan. It's an interesting story because this PSG side, they got to the final without these big names. They've been trying to get into the limelights of Europe. No Kylian Mbappe. They tried to sign Messi. They got Messi. They got Neymar. They got big names. But look at this team. This is a team which Luis Enrique. Shout out to Luis Enrique. Respect to that guy as well.
He's done a
very good job. Who do you think is going to win this final? I don't want us to go back to how PSG qualified they were at the bottom of the Champions League in December, but they struggled and tried to come up in January. We saw a total different PSG coming from, in January up to now. So I just want us to look at it. Who do you think is going to take this?
If you chronicle how PSG got to the final, you would say, probably it's going to be PSG. So I'm rooting for PSG. I think it might be PSG. Ask me because because of the transformation, because of how they have been playing, they are getting better every match. Every match they are getting better. But again, you have Inter Milan. When you have an Italian side in the UEFA Champions League, it's never going to be easy. Man City were just lucky, right? And you can tell.
Thanks to Lukaku.
And Edinson on that night as well, those saves, so Inter experienced is going to be between a very youthful side, dynamic, with pace. They understand what Luis Enrique was trying to do, and they are executing very well against the very experienced Inter Milan side. Just like a mix of experience and a youthful side. Yeah. So I think it's probably going to be PSG.
PSG take it.
I would say, but it's never going to be easy.
It's never going to be easy. Wale, this PSG side, PSG win it. Kylian Mbappe was out of the team. Without
Messi, without Neymar, yeah.
How would Kylian Mbappe feel? I think he's a footballer. He's not going to feel anyhow. Or what do you think if you are a footballer? I mean, let's say you are Kylian Mbappe and you move to Real Madrid and your other team, you PSG.
I pray
how would you feel? Tell me your personal decision.
I pray I won't get depressed if I'm. Because why is it that after I left,
now this guy is out
and they are winning? So, but for me, I feel like PSG would, win this trophy. You know why? Yeah, they will win it. If you look at, I think they have the best defensive pair in Europe right now. From the back, they are not bad. They have a very good goalkeeper. That even when you face him one-on-one, you are still not sure if you are going to score. Look at those saves. They have a good defense. And they attack. What's that guy's name?
Who is that?
The guy that was bought from Napoli,
Kvaratskhelia.
That guy is not.
I think that was the missing piece because that was Mbappe's role. And there's no big boy in PSG no big ego. Everyone's playing for each other. And they just and he can play both wings. He can play 7. He can play 11. And
bro, I watched Liverpool played that team. Even when we won,
you were very lucky actually to have
won. You understand? And that also shows our experience, right? Because another team played them and got battered. Oh man, sorry, that's your team.
This is Gold Rush Football Podcast on TV. I've been having fun with my guys right here, and once again, I want to say a very big thank you to BJ for coming to this podcast.
You're welcome.
I said, we'll be glad to have you again.
Sure.
And I've been saying, if you think you can do better than any of us here, just send me a DM, send me a DML on Gold Rush Football Podcast. Tell us you want to come to this podcast. The door is open. Like I said, this is not my podcast. It is everybody's podcast. It's our podcast. So if you think you can do better than us, or you think you can also let your voice be heard like this, come on. Let's talk football. This is what we love doing best. I don't think there's anything sweeter than talking football. A man we know to watch football more.
What are
you watching?
All right. We'll be back for the listener questions, and we'll be taking your questions after this break. Peace out. This is Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV. BJ is still here with us, and Moses is here. Moses, the man that the only good thing that Chelsea can bring into that Chelsea can bring smile into his heart. The joy and gladness is for Chelsea to win the Europa Conference League. But Moses, the shame.
Shame not easy. When the desirable is not available becomes desirable. I thought they say nine bad pass. After all, a club has been going trophyless now for over 5 seasons.
Anywhere we are doing.
Easy. All right. We got questions from our listeners. I'll be starting from the first one. He said, okay, who needs the Conference League most? Who needs the Europa League most? Amorim or Ange Postecoglou?
I'll go first. I think Ange needs it most. If there's any way that his job will be saved this season, is for him to win that Europa League. And he said something at the beginning of the season. He said, I always win a trophy in my second season.
year,
So
right.
I am praying for him to win that league. And that's the only way that to save his job. Amorim is safe, whether he wins the Europa League or not. United doesn't have a choice than to stick with him for another 1 or 2 more seasons. But Ange, the only hope he has is, you can see his lineup. Yesterday, he put up his second string. Only Son is the only serious player in there. It shows he's putting all his eggs in one basket, and I'm behind Tottenham because I want Tottenham to be
you are behind Tottenham.
I want the London team to be an European champion before Arsenal. You know,
who needs it more, Ange Postecoglou or Ruben Amorim?
Yeah, right. Obviously Angie.
Yeah.
Obviously, right. So, but for obvious reasons as well, I am not rooting for Spurs. It's gonna be
Arsenal not rooting for Spurs.
It's gonna be Ruben. It's gonna be Ruben.
Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, Man U are gonna win the
Europa League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. Yamal the best in the world? Yes or no? Just yes or no?
No.
Yamal the best in the
No,
world?
I'll
Yes
give
or
you
no?
a reason. Yeah.
No. Just yes or no?
No.
Move on. Let's move on because there's still going to be a question that I just want us to,
No. No.
All right. So, okay. The next question is start, bench, drop. You start one, you bench one,
You drop one.
and you drop one.
Okay.
Jan Sommer, Alisson Becker, and Donnarumma. BJ. Jan Sommer, Inter Milan. Alisson Becker, Liverpool. And Donnarumma. Who are you
It's very
starting?
simple.
Who are you going to bench?
It's very,
Who
very
are you going
simple.
to?
You want me to go first, BJ?
No, I'll go first.
Okay, go first, BJ.
Current form, Summer.
Okay.
Fantastic goalkeeper.
Okay.
Then I'll bench Donnarumma. Yeah, right. Then I'll sell.
Alisson Becker. Hey, Liverpool fans will come for you.
Yeah, right.
With
Because
this one.
look at what Summer has done.
Yeah.
Look at what Donnarumma has done.
Yeah.
So if you look at the match between Arsenal and PSG, Donnarumma was the difference.
Yeah.
Look at how many saves this guy made against Barca. Right. Shout out to respect to Alisson as well.
Yeah.
He made a lot of saves against our PSG, especially.
Yeah.
He kept them in that.
Someone even said
match.
when Alisson got home, they were
Right.
using Aboniki
Yeah.
to rub.
Yeah,
they were
right.
using Aboniki to rub his body with Omi
Because those two goalkeepers are currently in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
I'll go with them. I'll go with Sommer. I'll start. I'll bench Donnarumma. Then I'll sell.
Do you agree with BJ?
I'll go slightly different from BJ.
Okay.
For sure, Alisson will be my third. I'll sell him because
Hey.
because of the way they
I hope you
extended
go
the Champions
save here
League.
today.
I definitely.
You need
But
bodyguard though.
I have so much respect for Alisson. You know, the stats in the Premier League, it's not child's play. But when it comes to Europe, which is one of the reasons why I'm picking who I start and who I bench,
Right.
I will have slightly differ from BJ because in terms of age, Donnarumma, I will pick Donnarumma any day, anytime. Sommer, aside from the Champions League, in Serie A, he's not putting up that same number.
Right.
Respect to him in the Champions League, he single-handedly took Inter Milan into the final,
Right.
especially against Yami Lamai. It was as if they wrote the script for him to tell him this were the whole
especially
places.
against General Yami. Put General Yami.
Let him win the Ballon d'Or before we
just
put
General, okay.
So I will
Yes,
start
make
Donnarumma.
person know.
I will bench Sommer and then I will sell Evergreen Alisson.
Alisson. All right. Moving to the next question. This is a manager's question. Who is the manager of the year across Europe?
That's
And
the
the slots, Hansi Flick or someone else? We got just 3.
and a slot.
Hansi Flick or someone else?
You've chopped out the main
Or someone
number
else. Who are you putting?
Someone else.
Someone else.
Luis Enrique.
Luis Enrique is obviously.
Enrique.
And in the
Why
same
did you have to say
in the
someone
same
else?
team is where we have the Ballon d'Or as well. We have
But
one.
why did you put?
Why would you say someone? You have to
Luis Enrique as someone
what
else.
the listener said. Please
Okay.
take it easy, your
That is fine.
Because
So-
now that you are going for Luis Enrique,
ask
he's the co-host.
Ask Arsenal. They will
If-
tell you who
I
the
want to
best
know-
coach is.
Maybe
You didn't have to say that.
maybe the co-host here. Just drop your comments. We want to hear your views on this. I mean, I'm really much interested in this. I'll be dropping my own comments in the comment section about how I feel, because if I say something here, I hope I should be able to go home safe. So because these guys are
you are probably not safe. so better don't say.
So don't let me just say go. All right, moving on to the next question. How will Xabi Alonso do at Real Madrid? Because the rumor is like, 99% is just for them to do the dot their I's and cross their T's.
I'll go first. I'll go first.
How will Xabi Alonso do at Real Madrid?
I always have problem with coaches that plays 3-5-2 formation. I've always said it that 3-5-2 is old and a special kind of formation, and you need special type of players to fit into such formation. Look at Amorim, good coach. I said it when he was coming to United. If you remember the episode we had where we were not able to complete it, I was saying it loud and clear that day that the problem Amorim we have in United is having the profile of player that will fit into the kind of formation he plays.
Right.
Who in Real Madrid will be ready to do mass defense and mass attack for Alonso?
That's why they got Trent Arnold.
Okay.
That is
one.
I said Moses said
he's going to be the one running the front.
Said Doku dribble and Arnold 1 million times. Have you? So
Yeah.
There with that formation, he will not have to do a lot of defending because he will have 3 center backs, right? So then going forward is going to be very, very productive.
But you think Xabi Alonso will do well at Real Madrid?
I don't think he will. So I don't think he will. He will struggle because of the caliber of player he has, because he needs player who can run 90 minutes up and down the field. Real Madrid doesn't have that. You want to tell Mbappe naturally doesn't even defend, even in France. That's one of the problems they had.
But I don't think Mbappe, see, there's this conversation that's been going on that Mbappe doesn't defend. Mbappe is one of the best players in the world. I mean, arguably the best player in the world. But if a coach can just have this 9 machine and work for Kylian Mbappe, I think he doesn't really need to do that. Is it me or am I just being crazy?
What I would say is this:
because we can't have like 3 of Mbappe in that Real Madrid squad, and there's not going to be a problem. If you can have 9 players that are totally different. I mean, when I mean different is those who are ready to run, who can track back
and work
for Kylian Mbappe, because arguably he's the most important player in Real Madrid right now.
And don't forget, Madrid wants
to play. It was Vinicius last season, but we can't say that right now because Kylian Mbappe is the one.
But it's going to be on the coach. The coach will have to determine, who you are going to be playing for. Vinicius, if he's not comfortable with that, he might probably would say, goodbye Real Madrid. But I'm not going to say
Alonso will struggle
because again, Alonso is not like Ruben, who is not kind of dynamic. Ruben has said, I'm sticking with this, and this is my.
You either love me.
So right. So it might be dynamic. He might look at the kind of players he has and say, 3-5-2 might not work here. I'm going to do 4-4-2. I'm going to do 4-3-3. Yeah. So I'm not going to say he's going to struggle. So he's a very technical guy. He's very good. I love coaches that are midfielders, right? Especially if
you think you earn the respect from the Real Madrid players?
He would, because he was a big name. He's won everything, even as a player. So yes, what are you going to be telling him?
Moving on to the next question. Who was the most surprising league winner
this season?
Liverpool. Barcelona.
Liverpool.
Why?
Liverpool. Because we all thought Arsenal was.
Yeah, right.
In fact, ahead of City, I was so scared that Arsenal were this was their season to win the
I thought it was Arsenal.
So both of you agree to Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Now that is where I want to talk. Now Liverpool is not a surprising league winner. I'll say Barcelona. Because going into the season with all the financial crisis, with all the lashes, with all the broken loaners and everything, a new coach coming into these young guns, I think the surprising winner between Liverpool and Barcelona is Barcelona, because no one gave Barcelona this chance of even competing.
Xavi won it with a much more unrecognized team than this Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick is benefiting from the handwork of Xavi.
But no one is talking about I'm not even talking about
Flick did well, because it's one thing to inherit a very good team. It's another thing to be able to manage the team.
The expectation is where I'm going to. Don't let's cross the
expectation.
The expectation was for Liverpool. Liverpool had a team. This team competed till some parts last season. They have this team. They have arguably one of the best wingers in the world in Mo Salah. They have good good players. They have one of the best defenders in Van Dijk. They have this team. They have a coach coming from Amsterdam, which Jurgen Klopp. I mean, this team fought to the end with Manchester City.
Larry, do you know why it's not surprising?
Why?
Because the Spanish La Liga has always been a 2-2.
Here we go again.
It's always been between.
Here we go again, man. All right, no, it's all right. I case my rest. I'm not resting my case.
After France, Spain is the Farmers League. That
Spain. Oh no. Let's say Bundesliga. I'll say Bundesliga then La Liga.
Yeah. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. The most surprising team that won the league, Liverpool or Barcelona.
We have said it.
All right. It feel like say my co-host for this show today. They're after my life.
We have said it.
All right. This question now goes to BJ. This is just for you because I don't want Moses to answer this question.
Okay.
If Arsenal do not qualify for Champions League, should Arteta resign?
That's not a question. Arsenal is going to qualify for Champions League. But should Arteta resign? Like, if I have my way, I would fire Mikel. Right. But Arsenal are going to qualify for Champions League.
BJ, let me give you that small so you enter, put your this thing because I never want you to talk to this matter, but put your talk.
If I have 1% share in
Arteta would have gone
Arteta,
because I know how
he
you
will
feel.
be in Kirikiri. Arteta should be in Kirikiri by now. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. All right, back to that Yamal.
Conversation. We want to talk about Ballon
Ronaldinho
d'Or.
won the Ballon d'Or
Okay.
with 19 goals and assists.
Okay.
Modric won Ballon d'Or with 7 goals and assists.
Okay.
Kaka won Ballon d'Or with 16 goals and assists.
Okay.
But Yamal with over 40 goals and assists.
Okay.
Plus eye test, which you guys see week in, week out.
Okay. But
Don't you guys think?
you're only reading one statistics of one player. We have a Dembele
Okay.
who is gunning for treble. He has won the 2 local cups and the Ligue 1 already. If he wins the Champions League,
he should win the
there's
Ballon d'Or.
nobody close.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He's carrying PSG on his shoulder the same way Yamal is doing.
Right,
I understand the urge for Barcelona fans to want to see Yamal win the Ballon d'Or, but this year, as long as Dembele is in final, he's already one leg being. And besides, these are French journalists that vote. So already there, 50% of them already.
Beyond that.
You my pen 20.
And they just say, okay,
Qu'est-ce qu'on se couche?
I say,
Ousmane Dembele. Man, big fans are crazy. When Arsenal lost to PSG,
Yeah.
the next thing you say, you m'appelle, comment ça va? Bonjour. Man, football is interesting.
Larry, are you saying this? Are you doing this?
Football is interesting. All right, the last question for the day, and we had this podcast. You just bought a Premier League team, guys. You just bought a Premier League team.
Okay.
And you have 3 managers available for you to pick. You have 3 options. How are you going to rank them? Like, Moses, just buy this Premier League team. Moses FC or BJ FC. So you have these 3 managers: Eric Ten Hag, Ruben Amorim, and Postecoglou. Who are you picking?
BJ, go first.
Okay, very average managers. Yeah.
So those are your options.
Yes,
you just starting the
sure.
Premier League. So who are you?
Sure, I have I'll do Eric. I'll do Eric.
Ten Hag.
Yeah.
You said
You start Eric. That means you start Eric.
So yeah, I'll do Eric.
Then you bench.
Yeah, because Eric is still kind of is a guy that is that can still manage. Situations.
Smile. He's suffering and smiling.
Yeah, right.
That's
but
what
that is Angie actually.
Oh,
that is
Angie.
Angie is Angie is never press conference. They are coming at.
But the guy not the bust out now.
He's very calm. He's very calm. But I'm saying Eric, because he will probably get something out of every situation.
Team, and
all the situation right now.
A new team,
Yeah, right. It will get something out of them.
I think Moses
then I'll say I'll do Angie at second. Then Amorim, very rigid, is Alele.
So clearly, Ten Hag, Amorim, Ange. I will go with Ange because he plays a very sweet, attractive
Scintillating football.
But I would want to advise him to bring back his.
You when you get your club.
You said my club.
Okay.
So
that means you're not letting your coach do his job.
Do you know why I chose
You don't want to
Eric?
make money enter.
Do you know why I chose Eric? Do you know why I chose Eric?
Okay.
It's because those two managers, Angie and Ruben,
Yeah.
they are very stubborn. So if a style is not working, they want to keep it, right? So Ruben wants to do 3-5-2. No matter what, Angie wants to keep eye line, no matter what,
yes, no
and
matter what.
that if it doesn't work, what do you want to
what
do?
do you want to do?
So that's why I said Eric will get something out
Right.
of any situation. He can just say he can change formation and do all of those things just to get results.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV, and I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who's been listening and those who have been supporting, dropping your comments, the likes, those you've been sharing to. I want to say a very big thank you to you. We would have been here if not for you guys, because if you guys are not there, we will not be here. Yes. We'll try to bring one more episode before the season ends, but if not, we're gonna say we've had a wonderful season.
Absolutely.
Back to back episodes. Absolutely. But again, shout out to all the co-hosts who are not here today, the likes of Mazi, the likes of Demi, the likes of Sammy, Sheung, and everyone.
Temi,
Chris. If I don't mention Chris, it might tear me or Big Demi. Shout out to everyone, and massive respect to Moses, who has been my co-host for a couple of weeks. I get tight for me, and then we'll be having much of this again. If you think you can do better than these guys, send a DM to me and let's do this together. This is our podcast. This is not a podcast. You can follow BJ again at BJ the Catalyst on Instagram. He's a realtor right here in Indianapolis. One of the finest realtors in Indianapolis. Sabi realtor with Sabi. Exactly. Moses, thank you so much, and BJ, thank you for coming. From me and the guys, have a lovely week ahead of you. Bye.